So, Mr. Kile finds himself in legal trouble again. This time, it's going to be in a civil court, meaning that if he is to lose this, he's not going to go to prison. He just has to pay damages. Although, that is unlikely given the fact that he is being sued for conspiring with the police. So, we got a very uncharitable article from the Associated Press, which selectively describes who Kile is and what happened. Basically, if you take all of the information here and put it into ChatGPT, the bot cannot figure out why it's self-defense, because they only describe the fact that he attacked individuals. They don't describe the fact that he was hit in the head with a skateboard. They do not describe the fact that someone pulled a weapon on him. It's just like he attacked. And then when you look at it, it's like, okay, so why was there self-defense? Why were the charges dropped? It's probably because the American justice system is not working, I guess, according to the Associated Press's description. Now, the lawsuit is filed by one of the fathers of the victims, and he's not suing just Kyle. He is suing the city officials, he is suing the police, and Kyle. And he is basically insinuating that there was a conspiracy in order to murder his son. So Kyle and the police officers have conspired together in order to create the perfect environment that ended up with his son's death. I do not think he's going to manage to win this, right? Because the accusation is ridiculous. However, it's his right to file a lawsuit. He might find the city officials guilty, though, right? Because the city officials most likely told the police to stand down, and it led to the chaos which ensued. And without that chaos, maybe he has an argument that his son would still be alive today. I do not know exactly how the American law works. I do know that the police in the United States is not legally required to help. That is very bizarre for my European brain, for my continental mind. But that's the thing in the US. Like, if they do not want to go to an event and rescue someone, they're not legally obliged to do so. So in this case, very likely that the police won't have to pay. But hopefully the city officials might have to pay some damages. Now, the thing that the father is doing is casting a wide net. So I saw this with many other lawyers suggesting that their clients do this. They will basically sue everyone involved with something in the hopes that maybe someone settles, maybe they get some money, and you don't really have anything to lose in this regard. So yeah, this is probably why he is suing everyone regarding this incident. As I understand it, the law in the United States is different than the one in Europe. Like here, for example, if I am being sued by someone, and I have to pay for lawyers, I have to travel to court, maybe I'm missing my job because I'm doing that. So if that happens, if I'm found innocent, the person has to pay me damages because they wasted my time. Also, they need to pay for my lawyer. That's not how it works in the US. So in the US, if you're getting sued and you're found innocent, you usually don't get anything in return. And apparently the mentality, like the legal system, says that it's so that it doesn't bar poor people from seeking justice. So for example, if you're poor and someone does something to you, then the idea that you can sue them, but they're rich enough to afford a better lawyer and now you're going to be in debt, right? Like the American system doesn't want that to happen. But what it does is that you get cases such as this where you're being dragged to court even if they probably know that they're not going to get you with anything. Of course, there is one exception to this. If you can prove, like for example with Sargon of Akkad and Aquila, obviously, where Sargon proved that Aquila has filed the lawsuit maliciously, then you can get damages. But in this situation, I do not think that Kyle can prove that the father filed the lawsuit maliciously. So he does have to show up to court. Apparently, one of the problems was with serving him papers. The father suggested that he was running away from getting served, which is ridiculous because how can you run away from something that you don't even know is going to happen? But eventually they found him in his house in Florida. They served his sister with the papers, and apparently that is legal in that state if you happen to live there. So if your address is there and someone else comes out at the door and they get the papers on your behalf, that's fine. I do believe that he should actually go to this lawsuit. Like, he shouldn't try to dodge the papers, because it's going to happen. Right? And it's better if it happens when you're prepared, when you have money, when you're at the peak of fame, because then maybe people can donate for you to get legal fees, and if that's even required, because I think that Kyle right now is pretty wealthy, seeing how he travels in expensive cars, has very beautiful women, and hangs around with politicians. I do think he may be doing well financially, but you know, an extra lawsuit is never something that people want. Still, it's better now than later, right? Like, than getting served later when you're not expecting it. Yeah, I don't think that he is going to be found in a position where he has to pay for damages. Even though in a civil court case, the standard of guilt is a lot more lax, right? In a criminal court, it's beyond any reasonable shadow of a doubt. In a civil case, it's a lot more lax. But the accusation that he was conspiring with the cops, I mean, I don't even know how you can prove that. But I assume the father must have a lawyer which has a narrative, a story. And in the very unlikely event that he will have to pay damages, then he can take money from CNN and give it to the father. Because there are many mainstream media outlets which he intends to sue. And he's definitely going to win a lot, because there were, I think on The View, I might be mistaken, but there were media outlets that even after he was found innocent, they still went on with the narrative that he is guilty. It's a little bit of slander and libel, right? So that has to be punished to the full extent of the law, of course, punished nonetheless. So Facebook, another great website which banned people from defending Kyle, right? So there was a time period where you weren't allowed to say anything positive about him, but the media was allowed to say negative things about it. And often they even said lies. One of the biggest lies that I remember was that the people shot were people of color. And you'd see that on Facebook. Now, if you wanted to correct it and provide accurate information, you would be in violation of the terms of service, because Facebook considers people to be, certain people to be hate agents. So a hate agent is a person that's not the one getting banned, but it's a person that says positive things about the individual getting banned. So you're allowed to say negative things, like the media is allowed to continue to slander and libel, but people aren't allowed to defend. And this is basically, I don't think it's even Article 230.